My name is Mike, and this is the Hot Seat. On this edition of the Hot Seat, folks, if enough of you see it, I'll probably get some criticism, but I don't care. On this edition, I'm going to talk about the Powell Homicide suicide. And quite honestly, I'm going to lay a lot of the blame on the government. Washington State Social Services, how can you allow a man who is under suspicion for the disappearance of his wife more than 2 years ago, and the guy's father is in jail for child pornography? The death of those two young boys could have been easily avoided if the supervised visits did not take place in the home of the father. I mean, how do you do that? How do you do that? If it's a choice between a deranged man and a female social worker, I'm going to bet that the deranged man is going to win every time. How can you possibly have him under supervised visits in his house and not in a restaurant or a bowling alley or in a social services office, but in the guy's home? And I bet you this much. I bet you not only in Washington State, but across the country, there are going to be new guidelines now that if the mother or the father that's been given supervised visits with their kids won't be in the house. I mean, he ushered the kids in first, locked the door, and shut the female social worker outside. He couldn't have done that in a public place or in a government office. Couldn't have done it. He would have had to have a gun. But no. He spread 10 gallons of gasoline all over his house. Locked the doors. Pre-planned. Sent emails. Took a hatchet and bashed it into the necks of his little boys and then lit them and himself on fire as the social worker is helplessly outside dialing 911. That is absolutely ludicrous. And yes, I'm blaming the government. Those two boys would still be alive. But no. Allow a parent who's under criminal suspicion for the disappearance of the children's mother, has a father who's a goddamn pervert, and allow him supervised visits by one social worker in his home. Amazing. So yeah, I'm blaming the social services. I'm not blaming the worker. She was following the rules. And she should have no guilt. Nope, I'm laying this on the administration. That's who I'm laying it on. The administration itself. Because this government is so perverse in its ideals that I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked that he blew up the house. Not shocked at all. Folks, again, just keep the merry-go-round going. Keep the madness going. But watch. I predict the states will react, especially Washington itself. Oh, they'll change the guidelines always after the fact. Okay? You always put in a stop sign. You always put in a traffic light after people have been killed in a car crash. Makes me sick. This government is perverted and ignorant. My name is Mike. This is the Hot Seat.